Okay, let's unpack this. We spent a lot of time talking about using AI, how it helps us write emails or analyze data, generate images.
All the practical stuff.
Exactly. But what if the real story, maybe the deeper transformation, isn't just about using AI? What if it's about fundamentally changing what we even mean by intelligence itself? Moving towards a world where, like, human and artificial intelligence don't just coexist, but they actually enhance each other in a really connected, almost symbiotic way.
That definitely shifts the perspective. It's moving beyond seeing AI as just a really sophisticated tool,
Right.
and more towards thinking about it as maybe part of a new integrated form of intelligence, where human and machine capabilities are sort of woven together.
Exactly. And that idea, that concept, is really at the heart of what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
We're exploring something called CAFA. That's CAFA, Collective AI, on the Foundation AI.
And this deep dive, it's rooted in actual lecture notes from its inventor, Associate Professor Jaehwa Choi from George Washington University.
So our mission here is to really understand CAFA, not as a single piece of software, but like the lecture notes describe it. A comprehensive, multifaceted approach designed for this digital transformation of intelligence.
Yeah, we want to break down its core components, these interconnected facets, and really figure out why each piece matters to the whole picture.
And just a quick note on pronunciation, because it stood out in the notes. It's specified you pronounce it ʻkæpə, like the word kappa.
Kappa, okay.
In Korean, it's... So yeah, we'll be talking about kappa.
Kappa, got it. And that core idea from the source is really crucial. CAFA isn't just one system. It's described as a comprehensive, multifaceted element, explicitly aiming for the digital transformation of intelligence. So this isn't just about automating tasks we already do. It sounds like it's about fundamentally evolving our own cognitive abilities by, well, partnering with AI.
It really does sound like a blueprint, doesn't it? For that kind of structured, participatory link between human intelligence and AI capabilities. Aiming to create that symbiotic relationship you mentioned where they mutually enhance each other.
Right.
And the notes really emphasize it's built on several interconnected facets, that they work together as a holistic ecosystem. So, okay, let's explore what actually makes up this ecosystem.
Let's start at the top, maybe. Facet 1 is the CAFA Framework. If you think of CAFA as this complex organism, this is kind of the intellectual and theoretical backbone, sort of the brain's defining how everything should work.
So it's the foundation of principles and models. And the notes point out it draws from some pretty fascinating fields like cognitive science, learning theories, how humans actually learn, complexity science, and importantly, ethical AI principles.
And that blend isn't just like academic theory for its own sake. The insight here, I think, is how these diverse fields actually inform the guiding principles for the whole system. It's meant to ensure that core concepts like transparency, fairness, and, keeping humans in the loop, they aren't just afterthoughts.
Right, they're built in.
We're baked into the system's design right from the beginning. It basically sets the rules and the ethical compass for the entire ecosystem.
Okay, so that's the intellectual foundation, the guiding philosophy. Where does the rubber meet the road then? Facet number 2 is the CAFA Platform.
Yeah.
This feels like the workshop, right? The practical technological infrastructure where you actually put those principles into action.
Precisely. It's described as the tangible environment for, actually building and deploying the AI. Specifically, it's a digital platform designed for creating and managing what the notes call generative AI agents.
The CAFA agents.
The CAFA agents, yeah.
And the lecture material highlights the tools it offers. Things like capabilities for creating these agents, managing the presumably vast amounts of data they need.
For sure.
Providing collaborative spaces for developers to work together, and APIs to connect with other systems. Makes sense.
And its role is pretty central. It's the place where these generative CAFA agents are, born, trained, deployed, managed, and refined.
Right.
And the fact that they are generative is key here. They're designed to produce novel content or tackle complex problems, maybe run sophisticated simulations.
Not just do pre-programmed tasks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this platform provides the engine and the tools for that kind of generation to happen.
Right. The space where AI goes from just theory to actual practice. Now, a system this ambitious, it can't operate in a vacuum, can it? So facet number 3 is the CAFA community.
The people.
The people power. Yeah. This sounds like what makes it dynamic and ensures it evolves over time.
Absolutely crucial. The notes stress this is a diverse, vibrant group, and it's essential for the ecosystem's dynamism. So who actually makes up this community?
Well, the notes break it down. First, there are the CAFA agent makers, sometimes called CAFA modelers. These are the builders, right? The AI practitioners.
Yeah.
Could be academics, industry pros, even independent developers or hobbyists. They're the ones creating, training, and improving the actual AI agents on the platform, expanding what's possible.
Okay, the creators.
Once you have the end users, these are the people who actually use the agents and the platform's tools across a huge range of fields: education, research, creative industries, business operations, general problem solving.
And their feedback must be critical.
Invaluable, yeah. Their real-world use is what drives iteration and probably helps discover new potential for the tech that the makers didn't even think of.
Makes sense. Any other groups mentioned?
Yeah, the source also mentions CASLab Inc. This sounds like the organizational glue holding things together.
Oh, okay.
It's described as supporting and facilitating the ecosystem, maybe providing funding, hosting events, helping set standards, offering resources, things like that.
Sort of guiding the ship.
Kind of ensuring the community's efforts align with the overall vision and principles of CAFA.
Okay, so you've got the guiding principles from the framework, the tech platform to build on, and the diverse community using and building it. That seems to lead naturally to facet number 4, the CAFA movement.
Right.
This sounds less like a component and more like the effect, the fundamental shift in how individuals interact with AI that this whole thing enables.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. This facet champions things like digital literacy and empowerment. It really promotes this idea of evolving from tool user to tool maker.
Ah, that's a powerful phrase. So it's about democratizing access, not just to using AI, but to AI creation.
Exactly. Encouraging active participation and customizing and even building AI solutions rather than just passively consuming whatever big tech offers.
And the lecture notes give a specific example, right, to make this concrete.
They do, yeah. A really clear one. TEAM, which stands for the Teacher-Empowered Assessment Movement.
Okay, TEAM, how does that illustrate the movement?
Well, it illustrates the core idea perfectly, I think. TEAM focuses on giving power specifically to educators, but you can imagine this for any user group, really.
Sure.
Enabling them to create and tailor AI tools for their specific needs, particularly in areas like, say, student assessment.
Okay, so instead of a generic AI grader.
Right. Instead of being limited to some generic tool, an educator could potentially use the CAFA platform and community support to build an AI specifically designed to give personalized feedback based on their course's learning objectives.
Or maybe an adaptive tested system that really gets the nuances of their specific subject matter.
Exactly. The notes give examples just like that. AI-driven personalized feedback generators, adaptive testing systems that adjust difficulty for individual students, tools to analyze performance patterns across a whole class to give teachers unique insights.
Wow, that really connects it back to you, the listener, doesn't it? Imagine if you had the capability, maybe provided by this platform and community,
Yeah.
to actually build the AI tools you need for your unique work or your passion project or your specific challenges, instead of just making do with general purpose apps.
That's the ambition here, it seems. That
Yeah.
potential for real user empowerment is pretty significant.
Okay, so that leads us to the final piece mentioned, facet number 5, the CAFA tokenomics.
Right, the economic layer. This introduces the incentive system designed to, well, fuel the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, the notes describe this as leveraging token-based mechanisms. The idea is to create a sustainable and participatory environment. It's kind of the engine defining value exchange, rewards, and how financial interactions happen within this CAFA world.
And the potential uses mentioned in the source are quite broad. Things like rewarding contributions, maybe, if you develop a really valuable agent or provide crucial data or create content.
Recognition and reward.
Yeah. Also funding innovative new projects that bubble up from the community and enabling value exchange generally, potentially even aspects of governance within the ecosystem, maybe using these tokens.
So the underlying purpose seems to be about aligning individual incentives, you know, what motivates me to contribute, with the overall collective health and growth of the entire CAFA ecosystem.
Trying to create a self-sustaining cycle of contribution and reward.
Makes sense as a component.
So, okay, bringing it all together then, we have these 5 facets.
Yeah.
The framework providing the conceptual blueprint, the guiding ideas.
The why and how.
Right? The platform offering the technological workshop, the tools.
The where.
The community bringing the essential human collaboration and feedback.
The who.
the movement representing the empowerment and transformation for users,
Impact.
and the tokenomics serving as the economic engine driving contribution and growth.
The fuel, maybe.
Yeah, the fuel, exactly.
Yay.
And the lecture notes really emphasize that these 5 aren't just separate silos. They're designed to work together synergistically as a complete integrated ecosystem.
And the overall aim, as presented in those notes, is pretty ambitious: to redefine the AI landscape, to make it, and this is a direct quote, more accessible, democratic, and beneficial for humanity.
Which loops us right back to that initial, really compelling idea we started with.
Mm-hmm.
Not just using AI, but achieving a true digital transformation of intelligence through this collective, symbiotic effort of humans and AI working together.
So hopefully you've now got a more structured way to think about this complex concept, CAFA, seeing how it breaks down into these distinct but very interconnected parts.
Definitely gives a clearer picture. And maybe here's something to consider, sort of a final thought for you listening. The lecture notes present CAFA with this really high-minded goal,
Yeah.
right? Making AI more accessible, democratic, and beneficial for humanity.
Mm-hmm. A laudable goal.
Absolutely. But building and maintaining such a complex, integrated ecosystem, especially one involving tokenomics, aiming for widespread empowerment across diverse users, that seems like it would present immense practical challenges.
Oh, undoubtedly.
So what do you think are the biggest hurdles? The biggest challenges in truly achieving that vision of widespread accessibility and democratic participation in an AI system of this scale and complexity? Something to chew on, maybe, as this whole field continues to develop.